Hey there, friends and enemies, Jopi here again, and today we got some pretty massive news about the future of Destiny 2, which makes sense since it is the 10-year anniversary of Destiny 1 launching. I've been playing the franchise since the very beginning. I've seen all the highs and the lows, so I understand that people are frustrated in general with the game state right now, and I definitely get that, but I also know that when the team over at Bungie is able to release good new content that is exciting. You look at Into the Light, which was a free update, and that one absolutely was a banger, and a lot of people came back to check it out. I think that will be continuing into the future as well if they are able to develop new content that is exciting and gets people wanting to play not only for the content itself but also the rewards. We could see Destiny rise once again, and I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I do feel like we need a lot more information before we know that'll be the case. But first off, I want to talk about what's coming in the near future and then down the line. First off, we do know that the old Destiny 1 exotic sniper rifle Icebreaker is returning to the game with a new dungeon shortly, and that's insane to me. I don't know how they're going to balance Icebreaker. If you didn't know, in D1 it was absolutely absurd. It would auto regenerate ammo, it was a special weapon, and I cheesed so many bosses with this thing. It was wild. But I also know that they're going to have to try to make sure that it's not extremely broken when it does come out. So we'll see how that all works. But we also know a dungeon is on the way sooner rather than later as well, which is also very, very exciting. Now, they'll go over some art and also some other information with this art show tour, Legends of Destiny art show tour, which is very, very cool and is coming to different cities across Los Angeles, New York City, and then London. And then finally, we also got the new armor set that is dropping with the 10th anniversary update. So we're getting a multi-part update for the 10th anniversary, starting with the armor and then adding additional information down the line. We also are getting a brand new seal, so if you do collect titles, this will be one to chase. And if you've completed the Final Shape campaign on Legend difficulty, you'll be ahead of the game there. We're getting a nerf version of Ace of Spades, which is cool for some people, but ultimately that's pretty much it for the 10th anniversary for now. But we do know some more information is coming as well about that over the next coming weeks. They also went into a big blog post about the new Frontiers. So Codename Frontiers is next year of Destiny 2, and instead of one major expansion per year, they're going to do two expansions, and instead of seasons, they're going to do major updates. The major updates will be free, so essentially it looks like you will be paying for the expansions. I don't know if you'll have to pay for the rewards pass, but they did say the major updates are free for everybody, so there is questionable wording on that a little bit. However, I'll be very curious to see how this is all handled, how much the expansions are, because it does feel like they're going to have to make this equivalent to what we're currently paying now, I would imagine. So with each expansion, the first one codename Apollo and the second one codename Behemoth, next year we'll get new stories, new locations, new missions, new weapons, new gear, new raids, and dungeons. Now keep in mind, this says raids with an S and dungeons with an S, so we'll still likely be getting 2 raids and 2 dungeons per year, which I think is very important and exciting for the future of Endgame. Seasonal updates. These are going to be free, new and reprised activities, new gear and artifact mods, new modifiers and challenges, new sandbox meta, and new events. But they clearly separate out the rewards pass, which is why I wonder if this will be treated like a battle pass where you essentially pay $10 or whatever the case may be for the separate battle pass. This is going to have exotic weapon and ornament, legendary weapon and armor ornaments, gear upgrade resources, cosmetics, and more. The questionable part about this is if an exotic weapon is locked behind a rewards pass and it does cost money, and then it ends up being broken, it could be considered a pay to win option potentially, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's why when you look at this little spreadsheet here, or the little roadmap, you see that the season points down and includes the major update, but then there's a separate little node here for the rewards pass that doesn't necessarily say that it is free. So we'll have to see how they monetize that. That's a big question that I think a lot of people will be concerned about, but we don't know how that's going to work overall. Now, going forward, I think this is something that makes sense. So I'd imagine the story-based content is relatively expensive, right? So before, the seasons were focused on the stories with a new activity. And so some people invest in the story, some people could care less about it. But when you get cinematics, when you get voice acting and all that kind of good stuff, it does feel like that cost will probably add up. So instead, focusing on the stuff that is replayable as much as possible and innovating on that is definitely the path forward for me. So you can include all the major story beats in the two expansions and then let the other major updates be specifically for new replayable content to get people excited to jump in and play the game again. So I feel like that's the path forward that makes sense. I don't know if everyone will like the two expansion system. For me personally, I think this is probably the best option that we have right now. A single update per year would not be enough, but I do feel like two expansions per year could work out depending on how they deliver it. So we're also going to get deep dives on the core game as far as activities and rewards as well as the portal. So I'll definitely go over that information as well. So the vision for the future of Destiny 2 is replayability, with the annual expansions being the bulk of the story based content, and actively prototyping non-linear campaigns, exploration experiences similar to Dreaming City or Metroidvanias, so an unusual format. So I think that's where Destiny can really change up how exciting the game is by adding content that's completely different from what we have in the game. Like, for example, say you have something like the survival mode in the Division 1, right? Where you load into map, you don't have any of your gear or anything, and you essentially have to find exotics or weapons or whatever, and essentially provides an increasing challenge. Something like that. A change to the way PvP works. A change to Gambit. Gambit's sitting right there with no updates. Either update it or let it go. I think there's a lot of room for that to be expanded upon in a way that I think would make a lot of sense. So they also go into depth about the seasonal changes that we're getting. So they're going to focus more on strikes, exotic missions, and new modes like Onslaught, which again I think is good. New rewards, weekly events, new features, and combat meta and balance updates as you would expect, which is necessary for a game like this, especially when power creep seems to be a huge part of what's happening with Destiny 2 right now. As far as the core game, they're essentially trying to fix it because it's too complex, and updating the UI and also going on to deep dives on activities and rewards like I mentioned. Gear and challenge should matter. That's important. I think a lot of people would agree with that. Having more options for adept weapons and artifice gear that feels worth chasing is very, very important. And that is going to be across PvE and PvP. So I think they're also going to be adding new gameplay modifiers that give enemies some exciting tools to mix things up on every run. So I think that's also important because the game can feel a little samey. So the multi-year saga starts with Codename Apollo, and essentially it's going to be a multi-year option, story mode essentially that we're going to be following, essentially a new saga. So I do feel like this is a good idea, something to look forward to in the future now that the 10-year saga is done, and hopefully it is very interesting. The next two episodes will lead into the Codename Apollo expansion, which I think we hopefully will learn more about sooner rather than later, so we know what to expect. Codename Apollo will be non-linear, so essentially you can chase down some of the different missions in different orders if you so choose. I think majority of people will play it in order, but I think others will like to mix and match a little bit more. So I think that's very, very cool. And I don't know if it's going to be something that everyone's going to use, but it is worth trying to do. Now, Destiny is at its best when it's mysterious, weird, and not afraid to try new things. That is something I've been saying for years now, and because of this locked-in seasonal model, they haven't been able to do that. So hopefully with gameplay and narrative experiences, they'll be able to change that up quite a bit going forward. They're definitely changing a lot with these updates, which I think is ultimately a good thing. And yeah, hopefully this is going to be something that we really benefit from over the long term. This is not going to be a change, I think, that will fix Destiny 2 right away, But I do feel like there is an opportunity for them to start turning things around at this point in a way that will get people excited to play over the long term. And also maybe put out the information that it's okay to put the game down and move on if you are not enjoying it at a good time. And you'll be able to pick it back up in the future when it's time to jump back in. So, love to hear from you guys on what your thoughts on the Codename Apollo expansion, the new expansion system that they're introducing, what we're getting with the 10-year anniversary. Let me know in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe. As always, my name is Jopa. Have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.